Hello and welcome to the Killtocraft Podcast, episode 14. I'm Vanessa and I am your host. Today I have for you some knitting and spinning and some finished objects. So thank you for coming back to join me. It's nice to have you back and it's nice to be back. And thank you to everybody as well who's joined in on the Ravelry Group and the Christmas Knit Cal, which is mainly just a share and tell knit along, but it's so nice to have you all there and chatter with you all. You can find me on Instagram as Nessa Townley, and you can find me on Ravelry as Killtocraft, and you can find me at the Ravelry Group, which is Killtocraft Podcast. I'm also on Periscope, but I only watch really other people's Periscopes. I haven't joined the filming crew on that department. So yes, let's get down to the nitty gritty. I'll show you my FO first because, well, it's on show anyway. This is something that I've recently finished, which is my Henley Hitchcock sweater. It's called a Hitchcock and it's by Tin Can Knits, and it was out of the autumn issue of Pom Pom Quarterly, and it is gorgeous. It's a lovely pattern and it's got a raglan detail that runs up the body and into the raglan yoke on both sides and on the back. And then it's got this gorgeous button band which is increased into front and back of the stitches, and then you put some on the back onto stitch holders and some onto the front, and you knit them then round the yoke backwards and forwards, so it's seamless completely, and I love that. I think it's brilliant, really neat, really tidy, and it's really cozy. The only thing is with it is the fact that it's warm here in the UK and I'm starting to swelter, so I might have to take this off, but this is my festive sweater which I intend to wear for Christmas, and it's got, I don't know if you can see them, I picked kind of quite black buttons. I'll try and zoom in a bit, and because they're chiselled, they kind of slightly shine a little bit like the sweater, I thought. So I've used those, and I thought they were nice. I didn't want to use anything over the top. So yeah. It's pretty darn nice. I'm loving it, and I'm really chuffed with how it's come along. Some of my family and some of my work friends said they looked like store-bought, so that made me very happy, as it would. So, and then the next thing, I'm going to take it off because I really am boiling. In fact, I could show you the buttons a little bit better now that it's not on. So there, you can see that there's slightly a chiselled shape, and in the light it catches the chiselled edges, which makes it shine a little bit like the sweater, so it's not just a plain matte button. I thought it was really nice. So those are really lovely. But yeah, I'm in love with this. I think I finished it Wednesday. Took it home to put all the seam edges, put all the ends into my edges of my seams to hide them, and then on Thursday I took it back to work and got it out blocked on the block-in mats, ready to wear on the Friday. And I did wear it a bit on Friday at work. I wore it all day yesterday, well, not all day because it was very warm yesterday, but I wore it for quite a bit of the day, and I intend to go shopping in it later. And Will loves it, so that's good. He says it looks really nice on, and he couldn't imagine it when it was just on the needles, which is fair enough. I can understand that. Then my next work in progress is the Simply House slippers, which a lot of podcasters have been knitting. I think Little Bobbins and Melody of the Mandarines podcast started out knitting these, and I think Molly also started a pair, and I had this idea weeks ago to make them, and got all of the yarn caked up and ready to go, and just did not do anything because I was so busy on my sweater and I wanted to get that finished for Christmas, so I didn't bother getting it on the needles, which is a shame. So and I know Andy as well, she's started knitting a pair and they look lovely, so we're all knitting them. But yes, these are the Simply House slippers. I can squeeze my foot into these, but I think they're a little bit small, really. My toe really does touch the front, and I tend to put a bit of negative ease in so that they fit better without being loose, and I think I've done it a little bit too much. I might gift these to somebody and make myself a fresh pair, but that's not a bad thing, is it, really? So these are my Simple House slippers, and I've made a lining in mine. Just see if I can punch them the other way. So what I've done is, because the pattern doesn't call for a lining or anything, and I said that I'd share and explain, and if you look on my project page, I have actually written down what I've done. So this is a double knit yarn, this on the outside, double knit wool, the brown shade, and it's just some old stash that I had that I wanted to use up, and I've still got quite a bit, so I can do a few in some other colours because I've got a few different shades of this yarn. And then the inside is Sirdar Snuggly Snowflake Chunky, and it's like a kind of a murky cream, but I quite like it, especially with the brown. It looks lovely. And so when you knit this, your cast down edge is down here, and it lies kind of flat until you get to here and you join it in the round. So what I did was I cast it on for the outer slipper and worked the garter stitch, and then I joined it in the round here and did a few rounds. And then I picked up along the edge of the slipper with the inner colour. So if you can imagine it flat, you've got your brown outer slipper, and with the right side facing me, I picked up along the cast on edge with the cream fluffy stuff and worked this way. And because this is chunky, I had to alter the instructions slightly, so I have written that on my Ravelry page as well, just for in case anybody wants to use the same yarn, which is also handy. It is quite a snug fit, and I would say that if you are tempted, you could add a few extra stitches to accompany the fact that you've got a lining. I didn't bother because I knew it'd stretch, so I'm lazy. So then what I did was I worked up and I worked in the round for my inner lining, and I got to a certain measurement of my foot where I could get it in, and I could cinch the two sides of the lining together at the back of my heel and did the toe decreases. And then you can imagine that I've done all of this, I punched the inner lining into the foot so it was hanging out above where my DPNs were, knitting the brown outer lining. And that was complete then, and I just worked in the round on the outer lining all the way to the toe decreases and did those. And on the last round of the toe decreases, I picked up a stitch in the lining. I don't think you can tell either. I'm not sure. I picked up a stitch on each side of the DPNs and into the lining and decreased that out, and so it basically nipped the lining into the foot of the slipper. And then I sewed at the back of the foot, which is just taking a stitch at each side of the garter stitch, and it joins it together. It's lovely and neat. And then I picked up around this edge. Now this is chunky, so I used a different size needle. I obviously used a bigger needle, which I think I used 7 mils. When doing the edging around the top, I did not, because it was so difficult and it meant I could only pick up a certain amount of stitches along this edge because the needles are too big to get in. So I used the needles that I used for the rest of the foot, which I think was a 4 mil. And I picked up in each of these garter stitch ridges all the way around with DPNs, but I left the front section slightly open, and I picked up between the two thicknesses, so through their lining and the inner lining. And then I worked backwards and forwards in rows, just knitting garter stitch. And then once I'd got a few centimetres and it was a reasonable amount, I'd say maybe about 3 centimetres, I then casted it off and rolled it in, and where you had the pick-up line for the edging, I then over sewed the lining, the edging down to the inside. So I don't know if you can see because it's quite well covered, but there is where my pick-up line was on the inside, and I've just over sewn it in. So yeah, they've come out great. I actually changed the toe decreases slightly for the lining because obviously it's chunky, so I picked up less stitches around the cast on edge. The only thing is, like Andy said the other day on her podcast, this does slightly bother me, but it doesn't bother me when it's on. It's fine. But if you are leaning your foot on something, because sometimes I tend to lean my heels on the floor, you can feel that bump ever so slightly. Because like she said, your feet aren't really shaped like that. But I've modified this pattern so much to fit the lining in that I just cannot be bothered to faff about trying to figure out how I do it with a heel. Not this time anyway. So there you go anyway. That's my simple house slippers. And they're gorgeous. I can fit them on. And they are really warm. And yeah, they're gorgeous warm. So I might have to make a second pair for me that has a little bit more room in the foot. I am thinking that if I get the other one finished in time, I could wrap these up for Will's mum, because she has small feet. She's only a 3 to 4, so she might be able to fit in these. So might be an extra present. We'll see. So that's that. And then the second thing that I've been working on recently, since I've had my sweater finished is my Beezy hat, which I noticed the other day I'd actually been doing something wrong on, but you can't really notice it that much, and it doesn't bother me, and I've just carried on doing it so that it's right for me. In fact, I think it looks better. So this is the Beezy hat, and I thought it's here where this line runs up, and the decrease that she used left one of my green stitches still showing on the decrease, and I didn't like that because it kind of disjointed it rather than it running smoothly as a decrease. So I've carried on doing my own thing, and I think it looks better. So I'm just going to leave it like that, because to me it runs in, it runs up quite nicely. But anyway, so it's coming on nicely. I think I've got a few more. I've got another repeat, decrease, repeat, and then have I got another decrease, repeat? Yeah, just need to decrease in the stitch here, and then I think I've got another few straight rounds to do, and then I'm on to crown shaping, so it should be done pretty soon. I'm going to look at a bit of a sillian if I put it on, but yeah, so it's coming on, and I'm loving the yarn, which is baby alpaca, and it's king coal, and I think it's £5 something a ball, but it's totally worth it because it's so soft. And I noticed the other day they have like a pinky, it's not really pink, it's more like a mauvey pinky purple, like a dusky pink. And oh, so pretty, so I might have to get some of that. It might be a good idea to get some of that actually for my mum to make her a hat. I'm getting into this making for other people malarkey, and I've dropped myself in it, and now next year I'm going to be making my dad a fisherman sweater, so you'll be seeing that at some point soon, because I want to try and cast that on earlier rather than later on in the year. Horrified that I'm making a full sweater for a grown man. I've never knitted a man a sweater. Horns going off. So my next work in progress is spinning. Yay. So I'm using my bat from Spin City that I got from Yarndale. So this is some of it. It's gorgeous. I think I remember showing you it on the podcast after I'd been to Yarndale, and it's so pretty. And I really want to get some more of her bats because they spin lovely, and I'm really enjoying the different fibre content, and it's just playful. I like that. So I've been spinning. I'll just zoom in for you. So this is what I've got on my spindle at the minute, my draw spindle. And as you can see, I've got some singles down here, but these are plied, because I've been learning how to ply my my yarn on the spindle, so I'm plying on the fly. Yay! I'm actually doing so much better at spinning recently, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, on odd occasions when I go into the bedroom, I sneak in there to do things, but I get distracted because I see my drop spindle and I'm like, oh, I'll just spin for a little bit, and then an hour later and I've not realised I've been gone so long, because it's distracting but in a really nice relaxing way. And then because it gets really kind of heavy, my spindle's really heavy, after a while plying the singles, it's kind of a bit of too much weight on the spindle. I think it starts to break my fibre as I'm spinning, because I'm trying to do it thin so I can ply, but it's getting weightier as as you're winding on your yarn, and it starts to break. So I need a smaller weighted spindle. I think mine's about 70 grams. I need something probably more in line of at least like 40, maybe. I don't know if that sounds right. I think you can get them less than that, I know that, but I don't want too light because this is the first drop spindle I've ever had, and I'm just getting to where I'm comfortable spinning with that, and I think to go too much smaller it might throw me off slightly because I'm used to that balance with the heavier spindle. But I would like to try a lighter one. Sorry, my throat's a bit croaky. I'm going to just have a sip of my coffee. And then this is my mini from what I've been spinning. So I took this off of the spindle the other day. I haven't soaked it yet. I'm tempted to because I wouldn't mind trying to knit something with it. But it's gorgeous. I love all the colours, the aquas, the brown neps that are in it, the silk that's in there, the white silk. It's gorgeous. I'm mesmerised, and there's also Angelina and Tencel in here. There's so much stuff in here. When she told me at Yarndale, I couldn't remember it all, but when she said all of these things and I saw the colour, I was just like, yes, please, I want that. I want it in my life because it's just too nice. So that's what I've been up to. So I might have a few more of these minis knocking about with my heavier spindle being a bit of an annoyance, but it's gorgeous, right? So it's worth it. So I've been spinning quite a bit recently. I want to get a bit more fibre in because I can see that my spinning future is going to be a bit more like active now that I've got my even drafting down, and now I can ply on the go. It's just so much easier. The next thing is my hoarding for this week. You haven't seen me for a while, but I've also been really skint. I've had no money because of Christmas, so I haven't really bought anything up until recently, and I purchased some yarn for a test knit that I'm doing for Amy Meek of Inked Indigo, and she's doing a shawl pattern, a short wrap called Because I Love You, and she asked me to do the test knit for it, so I'm using, might as well go into this because it's to do with the yarn, but I'm using the Wool Barn silk sock in the faded jeans colourway, and it's 50% merino, 50% silk, and it's 4-ply fingering weight, and it's gorgeous. So this is it. Look how beautiful that is. I think it's stunning. So I cast it on with this, and I intended to use a gradient yarn with it, and I cast it on. I even put it on Instagram. It's still there, you can see it. And I cast it on with a gradient sock yarn. However, I realised that because the shawl is then a triangular shawl, the gradients will need to then become long repeated gradients, and they don't because they're for a sock. They're only small repeats. Which then made me panic, and I was like, it might strangely pool in the centre, and I did not want that. Pooling is fine, and if it's meant to pool, that is also fine, but I don't want it in my shawl when it's not meant to be like that. So I'm still going to use this because it's beautiful. Then I ordered some yarn from Vicky at Bear and Buller. I can't pronounce the name, so I'm going to show you it. So this is the colourway name, and this is her barefoot sock base. Vicky's been kind of busy working on prepping new colours, I've noticed. There's been a lot of new shades popping up, which is amazing, and this is one of them. And there's like hints of really like aquary blue and then lighter blue and some slight greys in there, which is really nice. See some grey there as well. And it's gorgeous. I love this. And I think that that'll go really nicely as a contrast, because it's similar, it's blue, but it's a different kind of a blue. So that'll be nice. So I've got my solid and I've got my semi-solid yarn, and it's not gradient, it's kind of variegated, I suppose, but it'll look better than the choice I originally made. So I messaged Vicky urgently the other week saying, please can you help me? What I picked was a stupid choice and I needed a hand. So Vicky's gone ahead and done that, which is lovely. So I can now cast on again for the Because I Love You shawl. So Amy will be happy to hear about this. The shawl pattern's meant to be ready by February, or early 2016. And I was the first person to originally cast on, and then bad things in my mind started to happen with my yarn choices, and I put it down. So I think if you want to look at it now, Andy of Andre Sunitz is your best choice. I think she's got a picture on her Instagram. She's definitely shown it on one of her latest episodes of her podcast, and so you can check it out there. But it's gonna be lovely, and I can't wait to knit it up. So, and I'm keeping this all ready and prepared. Just need to cake this one up this evening. And keeping this all ready and prepared with the needles, with the pattern, in my lovely Mina Makes bag, which she made me in a swap earlier this year. And this is one of my favourite bags, it's gorgeous. So thank you, Mina, as well. I use this so much. And then I also got a treat through the post, a pom-pom treat. So this is one of their new, I've got a couple of their tote bags, but this is one of their new project bags, which is just a drawstring number, but how cute. And it's got a new like logo of making a pom-pom, which is quite fun. So you've got your yarn being wrapped around the cardboard, then you've got the yarn around your cardboard being snipped around the edge, and then poof, pom-pom. I think is really cute. And I'm not 100% using this bag just yet, but I am keeping my new book in it, which is Take Heart, which is a pom-pom press book. They started working on a book with Fiona Alice. She's a designer that previously did the Take Heart hat pattern for one of their issues of Pom Pom, which is this one. I'm giving too much away. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's got a cabled like heart pattern running through the hat. And they've worked closely with Fiona and made, I think it's 11 knit collection pattern book, and it is stunning. It's only £14.50 on their website. I'm not by any way officiated by them or anything, so I'm just showing you, reviewing what I've received and sharing with you guys. So this is one of their new books. They usually tend to just do magazines, which is seasonal based, so spring, summer, autumn, winter. Their latest one is their winter issue. And there's so many gorgeous patterns in here, I actually would like to knit them all, I'm not kidding. this hat and mittens pattern. Very cute. I love that. And that's the Chester basin. I think that's gorgeous. And these are just leg warmers. I didn't realise that. I thought they were socks, but how sexy are these? I love these. These need to be in my life. And I was saying on the Pom Pom forum that I thought they were socks, and they were like, oh, you could totally make them into socks though. And I was like, I totally could. So that might be a plan for my future, is to make those as a pair of socks. But they have got a sock pattern in here. They've got 2 mitten and hat collections. One is a full mitten and the other one's a fingerless mitten, which is also very stunning. I love these. I love the like leaf detail on the hat. So they're really pretty. There's some shawls, there's a headband, I think there's 2 shawls. Socks, 2 pairs of leg warmers, which is a bigger pair and a smaller pair, and then a colourwork cowl, a hat. It's just accessory heaven basically. And this is my friend Natalie on the front doing the modelling. But it's such a gorgeous book. So if you haven't looked on their website, if you go on Pom Pom Quarterly's shop, you'll be able to see this there. I think you should treat yourself, like Kristen always says on Yarngasm, treat yourself. So it's really nice anyway. It's a gorgeous book, and once Christmas is over and I next get paid, I will be purchasing plenty of things to start making some projects out there. The other thing I wanted to talk about today, briefly, was that Christmas is coming. Holidays are coming, holidays are coming. Oh yes, that's it, Christmas. So, next week is Little Bobbins, Danny of Little Bobbins, is doing the Christmas Eve cast on, which she did last year, and I wasn't about last year taking part, so this year I am. And I prepped, started. I've got to show you that I've not started. I prepped my project bag, which is the one that I got from Fronda Piper, and it's this lovely drawstring bag, drawstring number. I'm sure you can remember me showing this off. It's gorgeous. I haven't used it yet, which is an utter shame because it should have been used. But it will still get plenty of use because it's stunning. And I'm going to be casting on with the Knit Pick Straw fingering in the woodland colour, and 462 yards, and it's 75% superwash merino wool and nylon. And this is a yarn that was in my swap with Mina, because we swapped a skein to each other. This is gorgeous. So it's got to be lovely for making a pair of socks. And I think how fitting that it's greeny for Christmas. It also slightly goes with my project bag, which I love, which is why I paired the 2 together. And I will also be using my Knit Pro Zings, which I've been so looking at online because I've been wanting to get some more. But I'm not going to get any more until I've made sure I use these. So I can't wait to cast on with these. But it does, however, mean, because I've only got one set, that it's going to be a case of one sock at a time, which I'm not used to. I like to do both socks together. Unfortunately for me, I can only do that on my wooden needles at the minute, and I don't really want to use the wooden needles. I want to use these. So I'm just gonna risk it. I'm gonna risk it. So I've got my Christmas Eve cast on things ready and waiting. And I'm so excited. And I know that for Christmas Eve we are going to a friend's house and we're going to be watching a TV series that is the Evil Dead TV series, which I didn't realise they'd made into a TV series, but I love zombies, I love horror, and I am very accustomed to anything like this, so I'm very much happy with that. So we're going around to a friend's to watch that, and I think that'll be the perfect time to cast these on. So yay, so that's going to be fun, and they will go through the Christmas period with me and go to families' houses and things, relax with wine or snowball. And then another thing I wanted to chat about is some socks. I knitted a while ago, earlier on in 2015, I think it was about February time. I knitted the Fika socks from one of the issues of Pom Pom Quarterly. I think it might have been the spring issue, so it might not have been, no, it might have been February time. So these are the Fika socks, and they're gorgeous. And they've got a twisted rib at the beginning. I cast it on using the tubular cast on in the Edison bulb colourway, which is totally cool. The only thing is with this is you can see it doesn't have much bounce back, so it just splays out, which is the unfortunate thing, which I didn't think about at the time. But I didn't also want to take it off because I wanted that bright edge on my socks. And also again down here. But I thought I'd review these socks because they are one of my favourite fitting socks, and I've had them and used them quite a bit this year now, that I think it's only fair that I could review the yarn. Why not? So the pattern is amazing. This long section of rib is brilliant. It hugs your leg really well and is cosy, which I really love. And as you can see, my heel's quite worn because it's fluffed up quite a lot. It's felted and everything, and then come down to the toe, and it's a bit fluffed up here as well. But overall, these are one of the warmest pairs of socks I have ever had, and they are comfy and bright coloured, and I love them. And although they do bleed a little bit if you put them in warm water, so I suggest a cool water soak, but I should mention the yarn. This yarn, this purple yarn, is the tourmaline colourway, which is the Uncommon Thread BFL sock base. It's gorgeous. And these socks are the reason why now I love BFL yarn. And then this colour, you all know what this is. This is the Edison bulb colourway, and this was just a little unicorn tail that I used, that I ordered. But I absolutely love the simplicity of these socks and the comfiness of these socks. I wear these all the time in my boots, so yes, they do get some tough wear. I wear them to walk to work. So when I say that I wear them in boots and I walk to work, my walk is about half an hour, there and back. So, and I've wore these quite a few times this year already, especially through autumn, and even though it's warm, I've still wore these, and they're gorgeous. So, at the minute, because they're so fluffed up at the back, they're not fluffed up, they're a bit more felted, so they look like a panel. I've been wearing these all year, and there's no sign of them, not all year obviously, I've been wearing them quite a few times this year, a lot more than my other hand knit socks, and there is no sign of them wearing through yet, which is lovely. And they've held it up really well. And I now understand why they say that, like, BFL is great for socks. It really is. So there you go. And I'm going to be soon enough, after Christmas, I think, or maybe even before Christmas, I'm going to be casting on another pair of these using the gradient yarn that I was going to use for the wrap pattern. So, those are my Fika socks, and they are amazing. and I don't think I'll ever get rid of these, even when it gets to the point where they're worn to hell. I will probably just darn them to death, like, because they're just my faves. So I would definitely recommend a good 9 out of 10 on the BFL sock, on the Uncommon Thread. It's a perfect sock pattern, sock yarn, and the pattern is great. It's perfect for any beginner as well. If you're a beginner, I think the only thing that you probably might struggle with is the cast on, which is the tubular cast on. But yet again, watch videos on YouTube, do a bit of research. It's not actually difficult to knit. So I think you could do it easily. And that's all. So I think that's it for today. I don't have anything else to show you really. It's been a slightly longer episode, but not too long. And I would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Basically because next week I won't see you. But the week after I think I should be able to do an episode, so but because I won't see you, Merry Christmas. I hope you enjoy your Christmases. I'll be on Instagram, so I can still chatter away with you all, and I'll still be on the Killtocraft Podcast group. So come and join us. And it's been nice to spend a bit of time with you this weekend because I left it so long. I was going to film last weekend, but my hair was particularly one of the main things stopping me. Also, Christmas shopping got in the way. But my hair last week looked horrendous. I needed it trimming, and yeah, I got that done yesterday. I'm not one for bothering about really how I look, but when your hair looks like a bouffant, no shape, just limp and annoying, I kind of preferred waiting for a better time, which is now. So, it's early morning Sunday, and you guys will probably get to see this late evening Sunday because I'm going to be shopping for Christmas gifts, last minute bits and pieces, and I still need to get some family Christmas cards, so I'm going to have a busy afternoon today. So I hope you all have a lovely day and you're having a great weekend and have a great Christmas, and I will see you all very soon. Yeah. Bye!